I was there when it all started, and I was there when it all ended. If you ask me about Rukia, I can tell you everything because I watched it unfold with my own eyes. Our village, Machanga, is not a place where secrets last long. The wind carries whispers from one hut to another, and by sunset, everyone knows what the morning tried to hide. Rukia was the flower of our village, tall and graceful, with skin the color of the rich earth after rain. Her father, Mzee Juma, was a simple man, a fisherman who spent his days casting nets into the great river. He had little, but he had dignity, and he raised his daughter with strong values. Her mother, Mama Zina, was a market woman, selling mangoes and groundnuts by the roadside. They were not rich, but they had honor, and in Makanga, honor was worth more than gold. Then came Waziri, the politician's son. He arrived like the dry season, unexpected, intense, and full of promises. Waziri was not like the boys in our village. He wore imported shoes, spoke English with a city accent, and drove a shiny car that made dust rise wherever it passed. He had the confidence of a man who knew the world was his to take. And when he saw Rukia, he decided she was his. At first, Rukia was hesitant. She was not a girl easily swayed by wealth, but Waziri was patient. He bought her gifts, gold earrings, perfumes that smelled like foreign lands, dresses made from the finest fabrics. He spoke of love, of a future filled with comfort and ease. And Rukia, like many before her, let herself believe in the dream. Mzee Juma was not pleased. He knew the ways of rich men's sons. They plucked the fruit, but they never plant the tree, he warned her. But Rukia was young, and love, when mixed with luxury, can be intoxicating. She began spending more time away from the village, visiting the city with Waziri. Soon she was dressing differently, speaking differently. Even her walk changed. We, her childhood friends, noticed the distance growing between us. But what could we say? Love had placed her on a different path. One evening, word spread that Waziri had gone to ask for Rukia's hand in marriage. The entire village buzzed with excitement. Mama Zina cleaned the courtyard. Mizijuma sat outside his hut, sharpening his machete, and the women gathered to discuss the bride price. He is a rich man's son, they said. Surely the bride price will be high, cows, goats, even money. Rukia will be the pride of Makanga. But Waziri never came. Days turned into weeks, and still there was no sign of him. His phone no longer went through, and the car that once roared through our village was now just a memory. Rukia was restless. She tried to hide her worry, but we saw it in the way she picked at her food, in the way she stared at the road leading to the city. Then, one fateful afternoon, she received an invitation. It was for Waziri's wedding to another woman. I will never forget the look in her eyes that day. It was as if someone had stolen the sun from her world. The man who promised her a future had given it to someone else. The shame of it weighed heavy. The village, which once celebrated her, now whispered behind her back. She thought she was better than us, some said. She left her home for a dream, and now she has nothing. Mzee sat in silence. He did not scold her, nor did he comfort her. Mama Zina wept, mourning not just for her daughter's broken heart, but for the dignity she had lost. Rukia stopped dressing in fine clothes. She no longer laughed with the ease she once had. She was a shadow of the girl she used to be. One day, she packed her bags and left for the city. Some say she went to start over. Others say she went to beg Waziri for answers. But she never returned to Makanga. The last we heard, she was working in a small shop in town, selling clothes to women who still had their dignity intact. And so Makanga moved on as villages do. But sometimes when the wind is still and the night is quieter, I think of Rukia. I think of how easily a dream can turn into dust, how love, when mixed with false promises, can become poison. And I whisper a prayer for her, hoping that wherever she is, she has found peace. Because in the end, we are all just stories waiting to be told, and hers is one I will never forget.